thanks, but maybe no thanks. Sources are telling CNN tonight that former First Lady Melania Trump, and incoming First Lady, is expected to RSVP no to a White House sit-down with First Lady Jill Biden this Wednesday, as their husbands are set to meet in the Oval Office. Kate Bennett is my inside source on all things Melania Trump always, and she is the author of Free Melania, the unauthorized biography, and she joins me now. And Kate, our friend Betsy Klein was reporting tonight that one person was saying there was a scheduling conflict as to why she wasn't going. I mean, you know how to read in between the lines with Melania Trump maybe better than anyone else. What do you think is going on here?
I mean, listen, I think it's a reflection of just how divisive this campaign season, this election, the relationship between, the Democrats and Republicans has gotten. And I think it's really a sad state of affairs when Melania Trump, who was so adhered to protocol, was a real rule follower when it came to traditions, would not go and have, or will not, or may not go and have the traditional tea with Dr. Biden at the White House, a long-standing tradition that goes back at least through modern American political history, where no matter how how much of a battlefield the campaign was between their husbands, there's always a détente to talk about how one First Lady sort of passes the torch to the next. There's logistical conversations. There's how do we move the family in? Yes, Melania Trump has been there before. This will be her second go-around. But still, just from a traditional standpoint, bearing the hatchet, like moving forward, it would really be a nice gesture if she were to go.
Well, and obviously, when she was incoming, Michelle Obama hosted her at the White House. We saw Obama and Trump meet, obviously, on camera. And you're right, it has been a very, obviously, ugly campaign season. But, I mean, Trump and Biden are sitting down, and it's hard to really think of a more acrimonious relationship than that one.
Exactly, and it's very sad to sort of see this tradition die. Now, we know that Michelle Obama afterwards, talked about the visit at the inauguration day of Melania Trump bringing that gift to the front door of the White House and how awkward that was. And before that, Laura Bush, Michelle Obama, Barbara Bush didn't particularly get along with Hillary Clinton, but she still showed her the secret window through the East Wing dressing room where you can look through across the Rose Garden and see into the Oval Office. I mean, these are the moments that really capture the basis of American democracy as one presidency shifts to another. And of course, the last few couple elections, we've seen that whole dynamic shift across the board. And this is just a reflection of that. But yeah, of course, I think it's up to the First Lady. And typically it was for Melania Trump during her tenure to say different things than her husband, to do what she felt was right to do. We watched that many times. So it will be a shame and a real disparity to the administration if she does not accept Dr. Biden's invitation and go to the White House.
Yeah, and it does not sound like she's poised to do so. Kate Bennett, as always, thank you.
And Elena, we are poised for what could be an interesting day, euphemistically, in Washington tomorrow. Donald Trump planning to head there.
That's right. Donald Trump and Joe Biden are going to be meeting really for the first time in several years now. And particularly, I think, notable, obviously, given the animosity between these two men over the course of the 2024 campaign. But one person we know is not going is Melania Trump, at least as of now. We're told that decision is not set in stone. But as of now, when we talk to our sources on the Trump side, Melania is not planning to go. We are told that she had a previously scheduled event for her memoir that was recently released last month, and that they were unable to move it. But this is really, I think, keeping in how Melania Trump has really broken with traditional norms for the First Lady. We know that back in 2016, Michelle Obama had hosted her in the White House. In 2020, Donald Trump did not invite Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden to the White House. So this is kind of keeping in that norm of her breaking with tradition here. John?
Doing her own thing. All right, Elena trained for us in Florida. Elena, thank you very much. Sarah.
Thank you, John. In just a few hours, President Biden meets with Israeli President Isaac Herzog at the White House, a critical meeting as U.S. aid to Israel could be in jeopardy over a looming deadline for Israel to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza. Of course, this meeting comes just one day before President-elect Trump returns to D.C. for his sit-down with President Biden. CNN's Arlette Saenz is live for us from the White House. What are you hearing this morning?
Well, Sarah, President Biden's advisors have said that foreign policy could very well be part of the discussions between President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump when they meet in the Oval Office tomorrow. The conflict in the Middle East is among the foreign policy challenges that Trump will inherit when he comes into office. But for President Biden's part today, he will be sitting down in the Oval Office with Israel's President Isaac Herzog. It comes at a time when the U.S. is still eager to try to reach some type of resolution to the conflicts between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, but also Israel and Hamas in Lebanon. But so far, it appears that the talks for a ceasefire and hostage deal between Gaza and Israel, which is a top priority for President Biden, remain completely at a standstill. Over the weekend, Qatar, who had been leading the negotiations between Israel and Hamas, said that they would be taking a pause from their role in that. So there's many questions about whether any type of agreement can be reached before President Biden leaves office. Now, this meeting between Biden and Herzog today also comes as a group of aid organizations has said that Israel did not meet the standards that were set out by the U.S. to surge aid into Gaza. You'll remember that just last month, Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin sent a letter to Israel outlining how they wanted to see additional humanitarian aid sent into the Gaza Strip, or potentially say that if they did not, it could risk violating U.S. laws relating to foreign military assistance, raising the question of whether the U.S. could potentially withhold military aid from Israel. Some of the standards that they had set was allowing about 350 trucks of humanitarian aid into Gaza a day, as well as between 50 to 100 commercial trucks into Gaza as well. These aid organizations that released a scorecard overnight said that Israel has failed to meet those standards and many more. So now there will be a major question for the U.S. today, as that deadline is now today. Last week, the State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said that he would not get into speculation about what would or wouldn't happen if Israel did not meet these steps, but that will be something for the U.S. to determine going forward. Now, at the same time, even as Biden continues to grapple with this conflict in the Middle East, you are also seeing President-elect Donald Trump engage in some diplomacy with Israel. Just over the weekend, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that he's spoken 3 times with Trump since the election. The former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Ron Dermer, was just in Mar-a-Lago yesterday, meeting with Trump. And so what you're seeing here is a bit of crossover between the Biden administration, who is currently in office, and Donald Trump as it relates to this conflict in the Middle East and trying to find some types of resolutions.
Yeah, it's hard to see any big resolutions before the new president is put in place to a lot of observers. Thank you so much, Arlette Saenz. Appreciate it.